So today let's talk about DOM, HTML DOM. Okay, so let's try to understand what is DOM. As you see, DOM is document object model, right? So let's understand, right? So HTML page. So if you see carefully, HTML page, when you write a code for HTML page, right? So all HTML pages are tags. We call it tags, right? These are the tags, and you have more tag. Like here, I have a body. Then I can have div, and div will have hello, right? And I can have, let's say, paragraph tag, and I can have my no more details. And I can have image. Right. So what happened is, let's try to render this on a screen. Let's say this is my test.html, right? So if you see, there are two parts. The part one is you write HTML code, right? So this is HTML code. So who understand this HTML code? Its browser is one of the client, one of the software which understand it, right? So if I open this in a browser, so it renders my HTML. So if you see the same file here, when browser opens, you see differently. When you see in the notepad or text pad, you see differently, right? So the question is how browser interpret this, right? If you see, this is a browser which interpreted your written HTML code. So how browser interpret this? So that's how. So let's first try to understand how browser interpret this. So what browser does is it scans your file line by line. Okay. So let's say it started parsing this file. So it started from HTML, it found the HTML, then next line body, then next line div. So it does a child hello, closing div, then the paragraph, and then text, and the closing paragraph, right? Then image. So that's how it's actually parsing line by line. And after it parses it, it stores in the memory in a tree structure. So when I say tree structure, so the way it stores is, let me try to draw it. So it basically parse your HTML file and try to store in a tree structure, and also understand these are, so because it stores in the tree, that's why we call we call everything as a node. Let me try to explain. So what happened is, like, so it starts from here. So this is your HTML tag, the first one. So if you see, HTML tag has one child, right? Body. So this become body tag, right? Now body has three children: div, paragraph, and image, right? So let's create those three children. So it has div, paragraph, and the image, right? And div has text, right? One child has a text, the hello, right? So this is text, hello. Then paragraph has other text. So if you see carefully, each text is a node, right? That's what I wanted to show you. And here what we have is, it doesn't have any child, right? So if you see image is closed, it doesn't have any child. It got closed without having any child. So it doesn't have any child, right? So now let me quickly draw it. So if you see it now carefully, let me try to zoom. Okay, if you see my screen, right? So your this HTML page, this markup. So when browser tried to parse it, it basically created a tree, right? And this tree has basically node and the uh, edge, right? Node and the edge. So each node is nothing but your HTML node. So if you see, this is your node, right? This is your node, body is node, div is node, ease is node, img is node, right? And the HTML has one child, body has one child, body has three child, div, p and image, and div has a text child, hello. Paragraph also has a text child, right? So this is called tree model, and this is called document object model. So the same has been same. We also call it DOM, the document object model. The same thing. Okay. So now, if you see what browser does it, uh, so every time browser maintains this structure in the memory. Okay. And it always go by your HTML code. See, this is what happened. HTML code converted to DOM, which is nothing but tree, and then renders it, right? So whatever you see on the screen, we call it, this file got rendered here, right? Okay. So now let's understand the DOM operations. So node operations, right? Or node traversal. If you see, sometime, let's say you want to have some button, for example, and what you want is, on click of that button, you want to change the color of this paragraph. So let's say button, right? Change color is a button. So what you want is, you want that, let me put paragraph line break. This there. Right? So this change color. So if you see, what I'm saying is, hey, can I use this button, and when I click it, select the paragraph and change the color, right? So this is called DOM operations, DOM traversal. So traversal means you want to walk each and every node in the tree. So if you see, I want to traverse to this P, right? So I want to traverse to P and then change the color, right? So let me quickly try to write the JavaScript. So if you know to write the JavaScript, we write it here. Let's say change color is my function. And for quick testing, I will write hello. So here, so this is working, right? Just for quick testing. So now, of course, I don't want alert. What I want is, so two-step process, right? Step one, traverse to P tag. So that is find P tag, right? Then step two is change color of P tag, right? So how to traverse? So if you go to DOM traversal JavaScript. Now, if you see, right, we use JavaScript for all the DOM operations, right? So we want to use the JavaScript to change color, do everything, sometimes remove, add, lot of things, right? So you see, I just opened the DOM navigation. So in the W3C as well, right? They do have some of the documentation. So they talk about how to navigate between nodes. So if you have nodes, you can go to the parent nodes, child nodes, first child, last child, next sibling. So these are some of the functions you can read. But the easiest way we generally use is get element by ID or get element by name. So let me try with get element by ID. Okay. So here, so I have to put ID. So of course, I have to say some ID here. Let's say ID1, for example, right? So here I'm saying right. So document dot get element by ID, right? Document dot get element by ID, and I know my ID is ID1. So this will give me the element. Now what I want is I want to change the color. So how can I change the color? I have to modify the style. So technically what I'm looking for is if I have to do manually, so I have to set color red, just for testing manually first. See, this works, right? So now what I will do is what I did here manually, I will do dynamically on the right. So now so what I have to do is I have to add attributes, right? So let's see how can I add an attribute. So this will get element by ID, give me the node. So if I don't remember the API, then I will quickly go through some documentation. So I will say JavaScript meet with elements. Okay, set attribute. So to see, it's a string name and a string value. The string name is style and value is color red. Right? Let's test. See here. See, by default when I refresh, right? So there's no color. I click on the change color. It actually modify the DOM. Right? Now if you do the inspect element, right, you will see that the style attribute is applied. Right? Right? So this is called DOM operations. Now you can learn more, but very quick. Let's say if I try to read more about DOM operations. So for example, let's say you want to build entire JavaScript in a DOM, right? So in your JavaScript, if you see, right, what you have is plain HTML, and this is your JavaScript, right? So if I want to run my JavaScript directly, so of course I will not declare the function. So what happens, like whatever you will write, it basically adds it. So step one will be what? Create body tag. If you remember, right? First is body tag, right? So, so document dot create element. So this is create element. So I'm creating the element called body, right? And step two will be, let's say, create div. Create div element. So now I'm saying right, and what I want div element inner text, right? So either you can say inner HTML or inner text. I think it's only HTML. Okay. So just like that, this is my inner text. Hello. Right? Now what I have to do is I have to add div element as a child of the body tag. So step 3 is add div element to body tag. So body tag, what I say, append the child. Right? So I want to append my div element. Right? If you see, now I come back, nothing happens. Might mess up something. Oh, because here if you see, I created body tag, added div to body, right? But I did not add the body into my HTML, right? So what I have to do is step 4, find out HTML tag. So get element by ID. Now here, and the child body tag. Let's try this. Yay! So if you see, right, so hello got added. If you see in this HTML page, right, everything I'm doing is using the DOM operation, right? So what I'm doing is step 1, create the body tag. Step 2, create the div element. Step 3, add a div element to body tag, and then find out the HTML tag and then add it, right? So this is just an example that how you actually create your DOM using JavaScript. So if you see, right, what is your DOM language? Your DOM language is a JavaScript. So JavaScript is so powerful that you can actually manipulate your DOM. Okay. So if you go through the W3C site, right, so there are so many different APIs, right? So JS HTML DOM. So read the intro. Of course, I hope now you understand what is DOM. Then go to the DOM methods. So, so DOM has some of the methods. So let's say get element by ID is one of the methods. So if you have any element, some ID attribute, you can search or you can select that. And inner HTML basically set the child of this element, right? So this is like normal DOM method. Then you have more. So let's say you can get element by tag name. You can also find an element by tag name. So if you see here, I don't want to have ID on the HTML. So in that case, I will simply say get element by tag name, and tag is my HTML tag. So this will also work. This will work. I think this returns array. Maybe, yeah. So you have to understand the API. So what happens is like get elements by tag name, return array. So you have to select your array position, right? And if you want to set some attribute, so you can say set attribute the way I did was, and they say this is wrong. It's not a good way. You better do this way. So there are multiple ways to do the same thing, right? And one more thing, like it's JavaScript, so like right now, most of the DOM operation is supported by so many other browsers. But you can see here, like just a kind of quick reference, if this function, the DOM operation using JavaScript, it's supported by browsers or not. Just for quick reference, but technically it does support, so you should be fine with that. Okay. So let me quickly walk you through more. So to see if we have more functions. So element object, you have access key, you can add event listener, you can append child, you can attribute, you can blur. So you should definitely read about it. So what I will recommend, open it, go through each example and test yourself. Okay. So now you understand what is DOM, how we traverse, and how to write everything in using JavaScript, right? Anything else?